All right, dear Taurus, this one's for you. This is Tarot Lumination. All right, welcome. This is your full moon report for April 10th, 2017. It's for you, Taurus. Now, Taurus, please don't forget to read for your moon and for your rising, okay? It'll give you a broader perspective, okay? Also, I would invite you to, or I would urge you to watch the 13th video. Dun, 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 dun. It's the one about, it's like a general overview of the planets. And before I get into your actual reading, Taurus, I want to have a little chit chat about the planets and stuff and how they're playing out, okay? Now, I've already pre-shuffled quite a bit, but I'm going to keep going while we talk, all right? So Taurus, dear Taurus, right now, you've got Saturn up there in your 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. This is very, very, very profound energy, okay? And Saturn is going to be going retrograde. We already did some reports on that. They were pretty heavy, all right? And it's the truth police coming out, examining that part of your life, that part of deep intimacy, shared resources. This is the energy that happens once you're already in a deeply committed situation. In other words, like a job or a significant other. And you're talking about, okay, honey, so now we're sharing a bed. Oh my God, what do we do now? It's that kind of energy, okay? So it might have been fun and games to get to that position. Oh, now we're dating, and that was wonderful. Oh, now we're married. Whoopee! That was a wonderful wedding. And now it's just like, oh my God, we have to live with this. Uh-oh, what are we going to do? So the truth police are coming in there, and it's no harm, okay? They're just kind of like poking around, putting the flashlight in there, like trying to figure out, okay, if there's any issues here, we need to deal with them now. So let's have a look around. Okay, we need to sort that out, all right? Now, it's not that bad, even though it's Saturn and it's retrograde. Oh, God, oh, God. But it's in a big, fat, green grand trine with Uranus and Aries and the North Node energy coming up soon in Leo, okay? So that's pretty nice, okay? It'll smooth things out a little bit. Now, with the full moon itself, okay, I'm going to admit it, Taurus, this is hard for me to interpret in a way that's really, really comprehensive and intelligible, because we're dealing with the 12th house, okay? Uranus is transiting there, okay? The 12th house is difficult for anybody to understand at any time, okay? For me, especially, I have challenges there. So I'm just suggesting that you've got Pluto in Capricorn up in the, whatever it is, the 9th, okay? So it's kind of like demolishing and ripping apart your sense of higher consciousness of what you already believed to be true. And there might be some like power issues going on there, especially as they are expressed in profound relationships, where these deeply buried, unintelligible aspects of your profound relationships, especially and including the parts that are to do with self-undoing, there could be some revelations or awakenings or surprises or some shocks that might be exposed at this full moon, and they will show themselves in the opposite sign of Libra, where the moon is going to be shining, and that would be over in your 6th house, which would be to do with like your day-to-day life, your health practices, how you take care of yourself, how you take care of others, your day-to-day habits and all of that, your basic surroundings, for which there may not be a lot of glory or reward, but it constitutes your day-to-day life. So to me, it feels like we're dealing with these hugely profound energies up in the 9th house of higher consciousness, mixed with these incomprehensible energies in the 12th house of like the hidden, the buried, the secrets, the unknown, where it's the end of the end. And all of a sudden, it has to come down to earth in very simple, intelligible terms. Okay, I've talked too much already, Taurus. I need to get on with your reading. Forgive me, all right? So just give me a moment and we'll get into it. By the way, I want to toast all you Tauruses for locking it down and keeping this world the way it needs to be. It was to you, Taurus. I say this for almost every sign, but I do have a soft spot for you. Okay, I really do. I'm serious. I'm serious, Taurus. I really, really am. I really, really am. Don't forget, read for your moon sign, read for your rising, read for the all signs video for the whole freaking playlist, all right? Just to get better illumination, all right? Because that's what we do here. Just pretend this is another one of those Sunday night live shows, all right, Taurus? And it'll just be fun, all right? So here's the situation. Here's possible challenges. Here's how we're going to deal with it and what the bleep is going on in the background. Kaboom! Whoa! Okay. Don't be scared, Taurus. Okay, I got a little bit carried away there, honestly. But to me, as your reader right now, I see this as a blessing. So if there are some profound changes that are happening around this full moon, it's okay. If there are revelations, truths that are suddenly coming into blinding awareness, that's okay. It's weather, this too shall pass, okay? But this card is here for a reason. And it's a very fated card. So it might feel that some of this stuff is undeserved. Like it would be the equivalent of a shock thunderstorm just piling into your neighborhood and doing a complete blitzkrieg over everything. And everybody goes like, what the F was that all about? Okay? But the point here is to accept it as a blessing. Okay? The Tower, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the most powerful healing cards in the deck. Because out of the destruction, out of the demolition, the truth is exposed, and whatever needs to be healed is revealed, okay? Because you've got to reveal it to heal it, no matter how deeply buried it is, because if there were any false foundations going on in your life, and that's extremely hard for Taurus to deal with because you are so grounded, and to have to entertain the concept that there might be something profoundly out of whack is daunting, okay? But don't worry, we're going to deal with it. Don't worry, Taurus, all right? So let's have a look. What's the situation? Let's get down to earth here. What's the situation? Kaboom, independence. Independence. Going on your own. Like, it might be that deep down, the subcurrent is that I want to be my own boss. I don't want to necessarily always have to allow for the other person in these most profound relationships. Okay? I would like to have my own sense of identity, my own sense of independence, my own sense of what is true, my own sense of wealth and abundance, without having to dissolve myself in order to accommodate the other. Okay? Independence is a wonderful thing. It's one of the most joyful things is to be fiercely independent and then have a relationship with someone else who is also fiercely independent. It's actually very, very stimulating, okay? However, it's very easy to be very comfortable in situations where we provide each other with what the other needs, okay? I don't know if that makes any sense, Taurus, but that's what's coming out of me, okay? And so this is what I'm talking about with the 12th house Aries thing going on here. We're dealing with like the energies of self-undoing that are so incomprehensible, so hard to understand, but they need to be dealt with, okay, Taurus? And it's okay. It's okay. The truth needs to be exposed. and we're going to deal with it. So what's the challenge with this? If there's an energy of independence, maybe you're actually enjoying a high degree of independence right now, even though you might be in a very profoundly committed situation with someone else who's very spiritually important to you. That's okay too. It doesn't stop you from being you. In other words, if, for example, your revelation is that, wow, this is so cool. I'm in a situation where I have complete autonomy to be me, and I'm with people who allow that and accept that in me, and they allow me to be me, while in the context of a deeply, profoundly, spiritually fulfilling relationship with the other. How cool is that? But what's the challenge here? Oh, okay. All right, Taurus. The challenge might be that with all this like bountiful earthiness and abundance going on, there might be some very, very deeply hidden matters that are being avoided purely in order to, let's say, go through the motions or to maintain the status quo. And I understand that. It's very, very, very satisfying to have it all locked down, to have our worldly lives in such a state of order that everything feels stable and abundant and fruitful. Okay? However, there obviously must be something profoundly out of whack, and it's probably extremely hard to understand or figure it out what it is, to the point where you're not even aware that there's something that's out of whack that needs to be addressed. And with the high priestess here in a position of challenge, what I'm feeling about this is that there is a deep fear about facing whatever it is that's so profoundly incomprehensible that might be undermining what is actually healthy, which is being who we are, truly are to ourselves, our independent selves, where we are abundant and true in our own right, and there's no issues of codependency or complete immersion or merging in or dissolution or dissolving oneself into the other to the point where where you disappear, where you're becoming a martyr to the other person. That's not healthy, okay? That's not healthy. It might seem very spiritually, like divinely, like cool to do that, but it's actually in some ways very, very unhealthy. That whole martyr thing, that whole victim thing, and just accepting of the martyr role, being okay with the martyr role, that's not so cool. And it's could be extremely hard energy to understand. All right? Almost intangible, ungraspable. So to me, this is extremely challenging. Okay, so how are we going to deal with that? Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Okay, this is a very fated reading. This is a very, very fated reading, dear Taurus. Look at this. Kaboom. Reality check. Boom. The issue of independence is at stake here. My independence, the independence of others, the independence of everybody. But there's something profoundly incomprehensible that's going on that is either blocking it or stopping it. So how do we deal with that? Well, with the world card here, in terms of like how are we going to deal with that, it might be about to these shocking revelations that we are at the end of an incredibly important and amazing chapter in our lives, and it's going to become apparent around the full moon. And that's okay. It could be beautifully liberating. It could be an amazing sense of liberation in like, oh my God, I have just lived through the most epic chapter of my life. It was up, it was down. We did all this, we had all that. We loved like there was no tomorrow. We danced like there was no tomorrow. We had everything. We've done everything. We gorged on each other. It was de-freaking-licious. but the story might be over. And that's okay, because guess what? It starts all over again. Because that's how it works, people. It's a never-ending story. The movie just goes on and on and on. It's okay, Taurus. You can live through it. It's going to be fine. All right? That's all I got for you. You can interpret this however you want. Reinterpret, there's the images. You tell your own story to yourself if you want to. I'm just calling it out how I see it. All right, Taurus? Blessings to you. We love you. Bye.